Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you. The Honda Acura Empire routinely previews upcoming models with nearly ready for prime-time concept cars, so there is little surprise to see that the streets-ready 2019 Acura RDX is a doppelganger for the RDX prototype that debuted at the 2018 Detroit Auto Show. Look closely and you'll see the usual production-ready tells. The mirrors are larger, the front fascia bears a few additional elements and a slightly different mesh design on the lower grille, and the rear bumper panel is a bit more prominent. But it's essentially the same as the concept car, right down to the spoiler and the descending character line creases. Bigger, Brawnier. Built on a new chassis architecture, the 2019 RDX is larger than the outgoing model in nearly every respect. The wheelbase increases from 105.7 inches to 108.3, overall length grows from 184.4 inches to 186.9, and height is up from 65.0 inches to 65.7. Despite this exterior inflation, the interior passenger volume remains about the same, although cargo capacity behind the rear seat increases from 26 cubic feet to 30. The new platform also ditches the conventional driveshaft tunnel, providing a fully flat rear floor for improved rear seat footroom. The unibody is built with more than 50% high-strength steel, and the RDX employs a strut front and multi-link rear suspension setup, both with fluid-filled compliance bushings. Adaptive dampers will be available as an option. A dual-pinion electrically assisted variable ratio steering rack handles the directional chores. Motivation comes by way of Honda's turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-four mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The dual overhead cam engine is a revealing tech design that produces its peak 272 horsepower at 6,500 revolutions per minute, down slightly from the previous car's 279 horse V6. But the Turbo 4 delivers 280 pounds-to-foot of torque at just 1,600 revolutions per minute, a 28 pounds-to-foot advantage over what the V6 could muster way up at 4,900 revolutions per minute. The 10-speed automatic is said to have a 62% wider ratio spread and is tuned to make the most of the Turbo 4's low-end shove, whether left to its own devices or shifted manually with the steering wheel-mounted paddles. 4 driving modes, Snow, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, can be selected via a control knob on the center console. Honda-philes will be thrilled to learn the 2019 RDX marks the return of torque vectoring all-wheel drive to the RDX. Available as an option and dubbed Super Handling All-Wheel Drive, SHAWD. In Honda speak, the new system can route up to 70% of available torque to the rear wheels as needed, but its real trick is the ability to direct 100% of that torque to either one of the rear wheels to improve handling. The RDX is the first Acura model to receive the new SHAWD setup. Glass ceiling. Standard items on all RDX trim levels include a power panoramic sunroof and the full suite of Acura watch safety and driver assist technologies, including forward collision warning, automated emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, road departure mitigation, and adaptive cruise control. Acura's next-generation sports seats are making their first appearance in the new RDX before migrating into additional Acura products. Featuring a lightweight, high-strength steel frame and detailed sculpting, the seats are intended to provide increased lateral support and will offer up to 16-way power adjustability. Available interior materials include brushed aluminum, stainless steel, open-pore ashwood, synthetic suede, and Milano leather. An all-new touchpad user interface for infotainment functions also makes its debut in the RDX. Said to combine the advantages of a conventional touchscreen with a remote-based approach, it operates functions on the 10.2-inch center display screen using a console-mounted touchpad. Acura claims the setup permits mapping on a one-to-one basis in that where you touch the pad is reproduced on the exact same location on the center screen to facilitate eye-hand spatial coordination. In some early demos, we've found this setup to be more intuitive than the typical touchpad, which operates like a computer mouse, but we'll need more time before we fully form our opinion on whether it moves infotainment control technology forward. Acura claims that an improved voice recognition system allows for more intuitive control of features like the navigation system, and the touchpad also is augmented by additional physical buttons, and a volume knob. A 10.5-inch head-up display is optional. A-spec action. Acura also has decided the time was right to apply its A-spec treatment to the RDX. It ditches the standard 19-inch wheels for a quartet of shark gray 20 inches wearing low-profile 255/45R20 tires, and the A-spec trim also brings a model-specific lower front fascia and gloss black accents for the grille, headlights, side sills, upper window trim, and taillights. LED fog lights, larger exhaust outlets, and A-spec badging on the front quarter panels and tailgate finish the exterior package. Interior upgrades include a gauge cluster with an A-spec exclusive satin silver finish and red illumination, a sports steering wheel with metal-plated paddle shifters, exclusive sports seats in either black or red leather with synthetic suede inserts and contrast stitching, and aluminum accents for the center console, door panels, and instrument panel. Frankly, we were hoping for a little more oomph from the A-spec's powertrain. On the other hand, rumors involving the word type and the letters S and R are circulating around Acura, so maybe that's something we'll see later. Speaking of performance, a production version of the RDX A-spec will not only be competing at the 102nd running of the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb this June but also will serve as the official pace car. The 2019 model is the first RDX to be entirely designed, developed, and manufactured in the United States. Development was done by the R&D team in Raymond, Ohio. It was styled at the Acura Design Studio in Los Angeles, California. The 2.0-liter engine is produced in Anna, Ohio. The 10-speed transmission hails from Tallapoosa, Georgia, and final assembly will be completed in East Liberty, Ohio. Look for the 2019 Acura RDX to hit dealers before the end of the year. Pricing will be announced closer to its on-sale date. Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you.